It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
It is February the 10th, and I'm feeling just fine. Why don't we hop right in to your top 5 at 6? Let's get this week going. Whoo, baby. Today is Screw It Day. About 23 million Americans already intend to not go into work today. If you're up and already getting at them, well, you just get a gold star. Why don't you? The morning after the big football game, that's right. 22.6 is actually the number they estimate. Americans will skip work today. There's a bug that's going around. Didn't you hear about it? No, it's just what happens. Although they're saying this year is probably the biggest, the highest number, I should say, of workers anticipated to miss a work day because of the Super Bowl is today. So if you're still on the fence, just get back in bed. I mean, we're here. We're going to take the hit for you. So get back in bed and enjoy your Monday.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally the most we could do. You know, I mean, that's kind of how we like to roll around here. There's as always, every year on this day, the whole argument of why don't we just make today a holiday or move the Super Bowl back one more week because next weekend is President's Day and then that Monday's already a day off. By the way, the NFL is strongly thinking about adding an 18th regular season game, not next season, but the following. And if that happens, then there will be a President's Day Super Bowl, President's Day weekend Super Bowl with Monday off for all of us. I don't want that. I don't want 18 regular season games. But then I go, yeah, but you know what? If we get the day off afterwards, yeah, let's go for it.
I would just like to say, I think for the majority of Americans today, Super Monday, NFL, please just go away. Get the F out of my life for a while.
Well, good. I got news for you. They're going to. It's done. It's over. The season's over, Zepp. You can come back out of your... Well, hang on. Does Zepp see his shadow? He does. All right. No more football. Number 4 on your top 5 at 6. Here we go. If you're looking for a new gig, you might want to think about heading to the Far East. Japan, a Japanese tech company, is offering some interesting perks. They're trying to get new talent, young talent. It's tough to find people willing to work those long hours. And so basically a tech company in Osaka just went straight up to the internet and said, listen, not only will we let you drink on the job, we'll let you have something we call hangover leave.
Hello.
This is not KQRS. Again, this is a tech company in Japan that is offering hangover leave and drinking on the job. Yeah, I guess that's what it takes. Although I would assume that most of the guys in tech companies aren't the type to be drinking on the job. I don't want my Silicon Valley nerd boys to be dropping back martinis at lunch, do I?
No, but I mean, if you're like, say, today, for example, if you get really whipped up on Super Bowl Sunday, then you can take a hangover day today. It's built in. It's like a mental health day. Mm-hmm. I got a lot of friends. I think that's mandatory in Minnesota. Don't we get mental health days? And when was the last time anyone ever took a mental health day? We got to get past that stigma and start taking advantage of these silly days off.
First I've heard of it, and I'm making plans for tomorrow as we speak.
Yes,
Mental Health Day Tuesday.
Yeah.
Man, no kidding. Number 3 on your top 5 at 6. Hey, listen, one of the great things, one of the keys to a healthier life, it turns out to be, it's just live closer to work. Because traffic jams and sitting in traffic, it's making us all fatter. That's right.
Yeah.
Our expanding waistlines. If you can't seem to stop adding a few ounces every month or a few pounds every year, how much time are you sitting in traffic? Because researchers looking at years worth of traffic and GPS data, they said heavy traffic makes people more likely to eat fast food, especially for dinner. You're in traffic, you have an unexpectedly long drive, you're late, and then you get home and you're like, wait, I got to start making dinner now? Screw it.
Yeah.
There's a McDonald's. Bing, bang, boom. Now I'm a fat piece of lard, and it's all because everybody else won't get out of my way. My only problem with this whole situation is I live about 1.5 miles from the station, so I have no excuse. I guess I'm just lazy and overeating.
Yeah, but don't you go by, I'm already forgetting, Lund's, Byerly's, that deli? Isn't that between you and work? That's a kill. It's much better than fast food, but I'm just saying, I can't drive past it. Well, maybe I'll just wheel in and take a peek and see what they have there. This is why I encourage road rage. Get out and burn some calories.
That's
Get
a
into a
good
nice
idea.
fist fight out there on the shoulder of the road this morning.
Good cardio.
Yeah, blow some of those 6,000 calories we were supposed to eat yesterday?
I can take a grocery list and turn it into a food bar list real fast. Real fast.
Yeah.
Well, this is kind of the same stuff, and if I just eat this, I won't have to make it when I get home. All of this to say, speaking of 6,000 calories yesterday, today is a lot of things. It's the day after the Super Bowl. It's a day of celebration in Philadelphia, and in fact, all of Eastern Pennsylvania. But for the rest of us, it's National, wait for it,
Yeah.
Poop Day. Poop Day.
I've already celebrated.
This is, honest to God, National Poop Day. Oh, yeah, well, I was, trust me, we have already tipped our cap to the event here in the building today. This has been, it's only since 2016 that National Poop Day has existed. Started at the Madison Children's Museum. They want everyone to take a moment and celebrate and explore arguably the most vital function of the human body. You know, you can live without sex. You can live without a lot of things. You can't live without getting rid of your poop.
Everyone
not
takes a
comfortably,
crap.
not for long.
Yeah.
That's right. They certainly do. National Poop Day, it's just one of those things. I celebrate every day. I celebrate 365 times a year. That's me, at least. But if you're wondering about what's special about today, just take a moment, look at the boss, look at the person you're sick of hearing them talk and say, hang on, I have to take a moment and tip my cap. Give me a few minutes, please. And then go take care of business. You have an excuse.
Because our bosses are so full of,
Yeah.
It all comes around. Hey, how about this for a Monday morning? Golden Valley, you're on our mind. Good to have you with us, Golden Valley.
Westopolis?
That's right, Northern Westopolis. Long before my time, word on the street is KQ used to be in Golden Valley.
917. Excuse me while I hack up that egg roll I didn't finish last night. 917 North Lilac Drive. I don't know what's going on over there now, but right on the edge of the swamp. We had a good time or two over there.
I've had several people since I came to the Twin Cities over 2 years ago now. Just every now and again, it will come up a conversation. You guys are out in Golden Valley, right? And at first I'd be like, no. And now I just go, yep, because it doesn't really matter. They don't know. They don't care.
No.
If you still think the station's in Golden Valley, it's fine with me.
Speaking of National Poop Day, we had a guy walk right up to the road and take a crap outside for the morning commute. Got a lot of honks that morning, as I recall. It was like one of those portable hunting things that you can take it. So we had him go test it out along the side of the road. And Bob, I believe, took a crap on Highway 100 over there in Golden Valley.
I would. I like to refer to those fun, carefree days as the salad days, but that would be a little weird in this context.
Yeah.
Number one on your top 5 at 6. I was texting during the Super Bowl last night with my son, like a lot of people are. We're talking about the game. He's out on the West Coast, and I just said, man, I'm still thinking about some of the great Super Bowl memories. As a little kid, he loves it, and we've shared a lot of Super Bowls together. But you know, and it means a lot to me. The all-time record for sharing Super Bowls together, though, it goes way beyond me and my 25-year-old kid. How about this? 3 gentlemen have attended every single Super Bowl together. The streak has carried on for 59 straight years. Tom, Donald, and Gregory, one guy from Maine, one guy from Pennsylvania, one guy from Michigan, they have attended every single Super Bowl. Gentlemen, high five to the 3 of you. High 15, I guess that would be.
Here they are.
It's great to get with these guys again. I'm probably one of the original members.
My favorite city to watch the Super Bowl.
Yeah, right.
I mean, the people here, the weather's usually good.
My favorite city is New Orleans.
Okay.
Well, you know, now you don't want to ask them if they remember any of the Super Bowls. That's not the point. But they've been to all 59. I have one of my closest friends. As a little kid, he actually grew up in New Jersey. He's not an Eagles fan. He grew up a Miami Dolphins fan. If you're 60 years old right now, the Dolphins were a big part of your childhood wherever you lived. And the 1972 Dolphins season. My buddy Jeff was given a pair of Dolphin socks, tube socks with the Dolphin stripes.
Yeah.
He's worn them for every single Super Bowl since 1972. I get the photo every year of him putting the socks on his feet. It's like a real strong tradition. I just want to give him a strong shout out because that's 50, however many years and counting now, almost. That's 53, I think he said. Yeah, this is 53 straight years with the very same socks on his feet. My friend Jeff is obviously a very strange and tortured gentleman. There is your top 5 at 6 for a Monday morning. Very glad to have you with us. Boy, very, very happy to come to work every day and sit in awe of Brian Zepp. And you know what?
I second that.
Let's just get right to it. I mean, at least once a day, off mic, usually he says, I'm smarter than both of you, and you guys know it. And you know what? Every now and again, we have to stop, take a deep breath, sit back, and say, you know what, Brian, you certainly are. Friday's show, a perfect example. Listen to this audio from Friday morning. Does anybody here want to make a prediction on what's going to happen in this game? Do we even care enough?
I'm going to take the Eagles blowout.
Wow.
Game's over by the middle of the third quarter. Eagles win by 3 scores.
That would be something.
Yeah, there you have it.
That would be Super Bowl 59 is what it was. Brian, what got into you?
I don't know. Well, at 9 o'clock, or it was about 9:15 or 20 or so, we made that prediction on Friday, and then my phone started blowing up with all my buddies that I'm going to be tracking down with $10, $20 bets. Come on, put your money where your mouth is. That's outrageous. And I literally made that up on the spot. Unlike last year's Green Bay win down in Dallas there, I kind of had a vibe, Jerry football. I just really want to pick on the Cowboys big time. But this one, I literally, when you said make a prediction, right out of the old arse. And so I took every one of those bets on Friday, and you suckers, I'll be tracking. Here's the deal. I got an old Army buddy, and he's involved with that syndicate that rigged the games all season for Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Right, sure, yeah.
Yeah, and he owes me an old favor, and it turns out the entire season was just a big gambling setup for the Super Bowl. So I'll be cashing in on several illegal bets, starting with you, Steve Straczynski. You were the first one to go, all right, put your money where your mouth is.
I tell you what, first drive of the game, they called offensive pass interference against the Eagles, and I went right. I'm on Twitter. I can't call it X. I still can't get my head around it.
Right.
And man, did the Eagle conspiracy nuts come out. It was crazy.
God. Yeah, here we go.
And then, of course, like 7 minutes later, I was like, you guys are kicking the living snot out of the Chiefs. I think you're going to be okay. Randy Moss's comeback was great. Him back on the pregame. Very emotional, but it was great to see and hear him. The game, well done, Zepp, on the call. Philadelphia dynasties, when they end fast, don't they?
Hard fall there, man. That one in particular, I don't know. I mean, you kind of, if you watch the season, you thought, well, the Eagles are the bigger, more physical team. They seem like they've got a bit more. But the Chiefs have this Mahomes guy, and they just pull crap out of their ass. And Kelsey, who hasn't had a particularly great season, is a playoff tight end and a superstar, one of those guys. So you thought they'd keep it close. No one really saw this coming. It was
everybody that I was listening to, myself included. I mean, in thinking about it, I was like, well, let's see, the Eagles have the better offensive line. They have the better defensive line. They've got the better running back. They've got a great receiver core. And all of a sudden you're like, wait, they're better at like everything except quarterback. But why do I still? But we've all seen Mahomes pull so many rabbits out of his hat. You're like, I just can't bet against him. And I wouldn't have. And I said, until someone beats him, I can't bet against him anymore. I'm over it. But boy, they got the absolute. They were just tarred and feathered. The best day ever. Not for Jalen Hurts, not for Philadelphia Eagles fans. I think it was the best day ever for the legacy of Tom Brady. Can we stop saying Mahomes is the GOAT for a minute now all of a sudden? That was Mahomes' worst game he's ever played, was it not? He was awful. Listen to the joy in my voice.
I mean, there was a lot of that going on. I mean, a few things came together, right? It was like the perfect storm. Mahomes lays an egg finally, and then the Philly Eagles D, which has been one of the top defenses in the league all year long, and played out of their minds.
Yeah,
I mean, guys
absolutely.
made plays that they just weren't making all year. They made the biggest plays of the season when they had blah, 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 all that good stuff. But, I mean, as far as blowouts go, everybody's like, oh, it's a blowout, it wasn't entertaining. I thought this was super entertaining.
Earliest Gatorade bath I've ever seen. There were 3 minutes on the clock, and they're dumping Gatorade over Sirianni. Fantastic. There's other things to talk about today from the world of sports.
Sports history with the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
All right, let's look back on this day, February 10th, 1920. Major League Baseball outlawed doctored pitches. The spitball, the shine ball, the emery ball. They said, okay, no more. And the weirdest thing happened. When the season started, there was way more hitting. Go figure. The best part of this, though, Brooklyn Dodgers had an ace named Burley Grimes, and there were 16 other pitchers who regularly used these forbidden pitchers, and baseball said, okay, there's a grandfather clause. You guys can do this until you retire, but nobody new can take advantage of these old style pitches. They just let these 17 guys keep cheating until their careers ended. I mean, I guess they thought, well, we don't want to shorten the careers of these guys. Then they would have to sell insurance all year long, as opposed to only 6 months a year.
Just being a kid, I remember being in like a Pee-wee or Teener Ball or something like that, and Sports Illustrated did a big article on Gaylord Perry, one of the Perry brothers. I don't know.
Sure.
It was just known for greasing it up all the time.
Gaylord,
and and he just finally gave it up. All of his tricks, you know, the thumbtack and the Band-Aid, you know, when you go to the bill of the cap and wherever he would put it. And I remember all of us dummies trying to throw 50-mile-an-hour fastballs with a little spit or Vaseline on it.
Yeah, man.
Wouldn't do anything, but we thought we were getting away with something.
On this day in 1992, the Atlanta Falcons, or as my dad oddly would have called them, the Falcons, the Atlanta Falcons traded their backup quarterback to the Green Bay Packers. Jerry Glanville said, all that boy did was drink beer and eat chicken wings. He looked like the Pillsbury Doughboy. That Doughboy's name was Brett Favre. And boy, did things turn around for the Green Bay Packers real fast. In Favre's career with the Falcons, he only appeared in 2 games. He threw 4 passes. Not one pass was caught by a teammate. However, 2 were caught by defensive players. 4 passes, 2 picks. Okay. Anyway.
How'd Jerry Glanville do?
Jerry Glanville, well, let's see. I think oddly enough, I think he has a chicken wing restaurant now.
Yeah.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS. It's the KQ Morning Show on Minnesota's Classic Rock. 92 KQRS.
Valentine's Day is Friday the 14th. And you know, what's more romantic? What says I love you on a Valentine's Day more than you and that special someone finally joining the Mile High Club?
All right.
Oh, yeah. Now, for me, if you mention the Mile High Club, I think about, you know, it is National Poop Day. And I think, do you mean have I ever taken a dump on a plane? Yeah, sure I have. Because let's not kid ourselves. Those bathrooms are way too small for me to imagine getting in there and getting any sort of business done of note with another human being. But no, apparently this is still something, you know, it's on everybody's bucket list. Got to join the Mile High Club. There is a hot air balloon company in California that hears you. They feel our pain. And they are offering a very special flight they call the Mile High Flight. And the whole point is for you to go up into the air 1 mile high. They go all the way up to 5,280 feet, where the average balloon only goes 3,000 feet.
Right.
They take you all the way up, and they let you get it on. That gondola has plenty of room for you and your loved one to roll around, not in the hay, but in the, hey, we're up here a mile high off the ground. Now, in case you're worried about privacy, don't worry. There is a pilot, of course.
Blanket.
But he stands behind a screen,
and
he wears earmuffs to give you privacy.
This is getting a little Amish for me. They put a hole in the sheet. Yeah, this is weird. You guys ever been up in a hot air balloon?
Never.
No, have you?
Yeah, all right. I crashed one into a cornfield one time. I've told the story on the
right.
air. Adventures of Brian as a Sioux City radio station. But, I went up in that second. Yeah, it's a basket. There's not a lot of room in there. We ate a sandwich up there, and our elbows kept touching, and it felt weird. I was like, did we just join the Mile High Club? No, we're just eating a sandwich. So I don't I mean, you're not going to get that much privacy. I don't get it, but
they say
hey,
this is a gondola built for 10, but that's 10 people standing. So if 10 people can stand, I guess they're figuring 2 people can lay down or do whatever it is they need to do. Now, this pricing starts for 2. It's $1,400. So you're gonna,
and you gotta fly out there.
You're gonna need like $700 a piece. I don't know if I'd pay $700 for sex in any condition myself. If you want to bring a third person, it's only $160 more.
Hey, for the devil's threesome, why not?
Yeah, man. Hey.
Yeah, I'd like to interest my Valentine in the 856-foot club. That's the altitude of my pad in Golden Valley. I just checked it out, 856 feet. So,
Nice.
And if we get up on the roof, I don't know what's going on up there. I haven't been up there, but if we get up there, we can get a little bit higher. By the way, if you want to do it the old-fashioned way and get on an airline and get her done, here's a flight attendant with some tips on joining the Mile High Club.
First, pick your seat accordingly, aka either right next to the restroom or in the very back row. Once we're up in the air and we complete our service of drinks and snacks, normally flight attendants either hang out in one area with each other in the front or the back or the crew restrooms. Now, while it's mandatory for us to do walkthroughs to make sure everything's going smooth, we only have to do them really every 20 to 30 minutes. After that walkthrough, you have about 20 to 30 minutes.
It's like planning a prison escape. I'm just going to cut her off right there. Wait till the guard goes by, and then you have to chisel your way into her. I don't know, but... All right, with the I don't understand the Mile High Club thing.
But at the same time, there's that thrill of being caught that is what's so alluring and attractive. Yeah. Buying something called the Mile High Trip, you're taking away all of the fun. Yeah. Then you're in a hot air balloon, and maybe I watched too much Johnny Quest as a kid, but I'm worried about those California condors. I assume they're going to swoop in and go after the balloon. I would just have a hard time. So you got a pilot who's going to stand behind a scrim of some sort, and he's going to put on earmuffs. That's the greatest visual to me. The guy, okay, you two have fun. I'll just slide these earmuffs on. I want the guy piloting the balloon to still be able to hear. I want him to hear the screech of the incoming California condor. I don't need, you know what I mean? And I mean, I don't care if you listen and then watching. I don't know, the whole thing. It would be kind of tough to get into the mood. Although now I'm reading the website says it's the first carbon negative hot air balloon ride company. Oh my God, hold on.
Wait a second.
That changes everything.
Now it's trendy.
We got to go to a break. I got to take care of some business. Oh my God. Carbon negative. Yes. Save the trees.
Oh, by the way, I got a message here from a listener whose name I won't give up. Me and the missus made it happen on a DC-10 bathroom when the biffies were a little bigger and the handle on the wall helped with traction. You definitely need to be flexible. All right.
Oh, man. Fair enough. Yeah, the old DC-10. That's what it was all about back in the day.
Yeah.
Huh? I understand you got to fly to O'Hare in a DC-10. Better get some sleep the night before. I've never heard anyone say anything like that. It just sounds like something my dad would have said in the 70s.
Yeah.
The dynasty has ended. Oh, man. The Eagles kicked the snot out of the Chiefs. I'm feeling pretty good about life today when I got up. I enjoyed it. Not feeling as good about life as a guy from Bram was a few months ago. Mike Cameron won a cruise on Norwegian Cruise Lines at a casino giveaway. Oh, nice. He and his girlfriend, they were like, oh my God, this is great. Mike's girlfriend, Tamra, had recently beat lung cancer, and they thought, this is the greatest thing ever. What better way to celebrate than with a free Caribbean cruise? Thanks to Norwegian, thanks to a giveaway at a casino. It didn't go quite as planned. My man got a little sick while he was on board the ship. Picked up a flu bug, and that bad boy's going around. I've yet again over the weekend, several more people that I know reportedly with influenza. It's a rough one. Be careful out there, et cetera, et cetera. But Mike, unfortunately, got the flu on the ship. And, again, as I mentioned, a free cruise turned out to be anything but. He'll explain a little bit about what happened here as he left after receiving 3 days of medical attention on the ship.
I mean, I really don't know how I'm going to ever pay him off. I'm going to have to, but I don't know how. To turn around the day we're leaving and get handed a $47,000 bill, I just didn't even know what to do. And everybody in the medical ward kept saying, don't worry, you have $20,000 coverage. You'll be just fine.
Well, the traveler's insurance doesn't want to pay it until we run it by our health insurance. The health insurance doesn't want to pay it because it's abroad.
Of course, yeah, abroad. What'd you call Ryder? That's offensive.
Man, but boy, I tell you what, if there was someone that we were going to say, she's like an old school broad, it would be Ryder. But here, the point remains, $47,000. Yeah. Thanks for coming. Here's your bill. He said, Mike said, they had a couple of IVs in me, and then they placed a catheter in me, which I'm not sure is necessary for the flu, but that's what they did. Let's just discuss that. How much did they have to drug you first? Last I checked, that's not a very comfortable procedure, especially if you're questioning the veracity of that decision.
Yeah, Mom used to give me some toast and 7-Up. Seemed to do the trick, I guess, for the most part. A couple of days of missed school, and I was feeling much better by the weekend. This is, and it turns out, now you'd be like $47,000. Yeah, stick it where the sun don't shine. That's when I'll pay that. Except that they had a couple of his credit cards on file. So they maxed out both of his credit cards.
No.
It's gone. Maxed. I mean, now how do you get it back? You get yourself a lawyer and spend $47,000 trying to get your $47,000 back. I mean, come on, Norwegian Cruise Lines. How in God's name? I know we did a story here a couple of years ago, Steve, where we were talking about they charged a mother, I believe, that had given birth $700 for crying for Kleenexes. She cried. They charged her. How do you get to 40? The cruise line has to, come on, do the right thing here. This has been all over the news.
It has been. And I it's funny. I figured by the time we got back today, this would be gone. Like it was popping up last week a little bit. And I thought Norwegian's going to get all this media attention. They're going to say, yeah, sorry. No. Here's a statement from the cruise line. While we are unable to disclose the details or severity of the guest's medical condition due to loss, we can confirm that the necessary medical procedures and resulting expenses have been reviewed by our internal team. As medical insurance is not accepted on board, we strongly encouraged the guest to file a claim with their health insurance provider post-cruise. As the guest did purchase travel insurance for their vacation, we've recommended they follow up there. Yeah, that's good. You know what? Let's bring in multiple insurance companies to wade through this one.
That always sorts it out. Please, somebody out there has got to be in the know. One of our listeners, 651-989-ROCK, talk or text. How does a flu treatment get to be $47,000? I've been in for a few things. I just look at what do I got to pay? What do I owe? So I don't really break it down, but I just don't understand how a couple of IVs and why a catheter. That just sounds kinky. I think somebody was just having fun there in the I don't know what they call the medical bay. Yeah, the medical ward there. This is outrageous. And how many people get sick on these things? Always there's one sitting out there offshore that they have to leave out there for about a month because everybody's got the norovirus. Are they charging them $50,000 a pop out there on these deals?
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing Doc from the Love Boat going, he's a friendly face, big smile.
Yeah.
He's like, no, really. The catheter is going to be, think of the catheter as your long-lost friend. I mean, what in the world do you say to a guy who's like, I just feel like I got the worst cold of my life. Do you think this is the flu? I don't know, but I'm going to stick a tube up your penis.
Yeah.
That's not the response I'm looking for ever, especially on a cruise ship when I've got a fever. I just don't imagine that's going to be helping me at all.
Yeah, no, boycott Norwegian. I mean, I'm not calling for it, I guess, officially, but, and I'm not a big cruise guy anyway. I know a lot of Minnesotans love them and are headed out on those cruises. Make sure you get your frickin' flu shot. What are they, free?
Right.
Get one of those bad boys.
They offer flu shots right when you board the boat. They're $19,000 each, and then that's it. But think of the savings as long as it works. It's a bit of a risk right there. I'm real happy with we do a couple of these cruises in the summer. Got the karaoke cruise. We've done the Rock in the 80s. And those cruises, much like a very famous cruise from late 60s television, a 3-hour cruise.
Yeah.
Mine perfect. Give me 3 hours on a boat, and I'm having a good time. When you move into the 4th hour, you're just taking a lot of chances, man. You cap it at 3, and by God, I'm good to go. 3-hour cruise makes perfect sense. What about a Gatorade shower with still 3 minutes to play in the game?
That made me so nervous.
If you missed it last night, man, it was a shellacking. The game was the game, but let's talk about some other big game nonsense. We got plenty. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. It's the KQ Morning Show on Minnesota's Classic Rock, 92 KQRS.
The king is dead. Long live the king. Or I guess the dynasty's dead. Man, not the Duck Dynasty. The Chiefs Dynasty ended ferociously last night in New Orleans. When you see the final score for the rest of all time and you go 40-22, a couple of plays here and there, it could have been a closer game. No. That was the biggest blowout that ended less than 20 points difference that I've seen in many, many years. It was 34-0 at one point in the third quarter. And my goodness, did Philadelphia turn up to play. And a lot of Eagles players said after the game, not surprisingly, all that three-peat talk really was getting under our skin. It was really pissing us off. And I'm glad to know that, the Eagles shared the thoughts and feelings of most of America, ready to see somebody else get a ring.
What is it with Kansas City Chiefs defensive linemen just crying their eyes out all of a sudden? I mean, at the game, did you see the guy who's the end for him? I think he played actually at Penn State.
Chris Jones cries during the anthem like every game.
Yeah, right. He had cried. Yeah, he had cried before the game. No, their defensive end. Jones on the interior. Yeah, he was just bawling his eyes out, and I thought, did someone step on his toe out there? He looks like he's in a... you're not crying because you're getting your ass whooped in the Super Bowl, are you? Take it like a man. Come on, but no.
There were a lot of highlights for the day, I guess. One of those for the Chiefs, the only one, they said repeatedly all week long, Saquon Barkley's not going to get 100 yards on us. Well, congratulations. You did it. You contained the league's best running back and still lost by 18.
Yeah, right. Everyone else had a career day out there. And I'm looking at Renee here when Mahomes was sacked again and again and again on the KQ Facebook page. Yeah, that was... it was kind of comical at one point. You're like, Jesus, this guy, man. It's was not the escape artist last night. And the Eagles, he's the best quarterback against the blitz. Has been for the last 3, 4, 5 years. The best quarterback in the NFL, bar none, against the blitz. So the Eagles said, okay, well, we got 4 guys that'll just whoop you, right there on the line of scrimmage, and we don't have to blitz. And big and bad, man.
There were a few times when I thought to myself, maybe Mahomes has an injury they're not disclosing. But then on the few times he would get out of the pocket and move, he looked fine. He made some amazing athletic plays on scrambling around, and faking people and putting the ball where you least expected. So that wasn't the case. He just played for whatever reason, and he picked a weird time to play it. The worst game I've ever seen him have, by far.
Yeah, it's like he tried that old Mahomes magic, but just forgot all the tricks. I was afraid that he was going to get injured with all those sacks. I'm like, this guy's going to get hurt and then do what he does best, run around on one leg throwing touchdown passes. But it didn't happen.
It did not happen. From really the opening coin toss, though, it was Philly's night. They won the toss. And then they went out. First drive, they were just moving the ball with ease. That whole thing about, hey, the offensive line and the defensive line kind of important. But that was the difference last night because they won. They dominated both lines. The Gatorade bath. The color was yellow. That was one of the prop bets you could bet on. They went with good old-fashioned classic Gatorade.
Yeah.
But what was mind-boggling to me was the Gatorade bath happened right after halftime is what it felt like.
Yeah.
It was like there were 3 minutes to go on the clock, but it was also like, man, have you ever seen at a Super Bowl so soon? So even in blowout games, you just wait until the final whistle. No, they were like, screw this, man. This ain't. We've been waiting a long time for this one. The Chiefs beat the Eagles a couple years ago. Payback's a bitch, as they say. And a 3-minute on the clock Gatorade bath. You just don't see that ever, if ever.
Yeah, I like Pamela on the KQ Facebook page. She sort of, I think, summed it up for a lot of us here in the Midwest. The highlight, when the Chiefs lost. The low light, when the Eagles won.
There is.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
The Eagles had to do the dirty work, but there you go. I know a lot of family members back there in PA all excited. They're probably still out rioting this morning, setting hotel linen bands on fire.
Yeah, really. Well, whatever it takes. They did grease the poles on Bourbon Street. Now, in Philadelphia, that's what they do for big sporting events. They grease the city street, the light poles all over the city because people want to climb them, and then this makes it more difficult to climb. The fact that New Orleans was like, yeah, we're going to have to grease these poles. I mean, it's like, wow.
I feel like we tried to do that when the Eagles played the Super Bowl here, and it was just too cold out.
Yeah,
right.
I think it was like 0 degrees.
Yeah, it helped. It gets real sticky grease when it goes sub-zero, doesn't it? Actually help people climb the poles.
I'm still getting used to the idea, and I don't even know how long it's been, but it tells you how long it's been since I've cared about the Saints. But the Superdome is now the Caesars Superdome. It was the Mercedes-Benz for years, and then it was somebody else. And the Caesars Superdome, every time I see it, I still get thrown. There were some concessions in the building worth note. There was a cocktail that was $59. Just not in like a lounge, just out there in the concourse. There was a drink. It's called Voodoo Magic, and they used Don Julio 1942 tequila. $59 for a drink, but you did get the commemorative cup, so it wasn't a total.
I'd need a commemorative bucket. Put it in a bucket, maybe.
Yeah. Just to get into the game, of course, cost thousands of dollars. There were all sorts of things. $17 beers to go alongside your $19 hot dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Okay. But you know what? If your team gets a win, your team gets a win, I guess. My favorite was the caprese salad. They had one of those in the Superdome. They added some crab to it, and it cost $100.
Oh.
Go to a frickin' soccer game, okay?
Yeah.
The hell out of our... I don't even know the soccer. I think hooligans. They probably don't eat... whatever you said, caprese salads, crab salads, or whatever. I don't know what sport that would be. Would that be equestrian, perhaps?
It would be like cricket or something.
Wimbledon.
Croquet.
Croquet. Yeah, I can see that. Let's watch a croquet match. I'll bring the crab meat. The highlight for me, quite sincerely, was pregame, seeing Randy Moss at the desk talking with the Fox crew. Very emotional. Mm-hmm. You could see how happy he was to be back, and he was so thankful and appreciative for all the support he's gotten from people. But I don't think anybody's happier. The only person who might be happier than Randy Moss to be there and watch what went down yesterday, that would be not necessarily Tom Brady, but Tom Brady's legacy. Tom Brady's legacy is doing cartwheels right now because Tom Brady never had a Super Bowl that looked anything like Patrick Mahomes did yesterday. Yeah,
he joined those Dolphins from the 72 year for some champagne after the game, I think.
That's exactly
not that anyone was playing for an undefeated season, but you could just kind of hear the glee in his voice.
7-3 all time as a starting quarterback, Tom Brady. Yeah. And it needs to be stated, the Patriots didn't have a lot of blowout wins. Most of their wins, if not all of them, were single score games. They were always very close. The 3 games they lost, they easily could have won. Several of those 7 they won, they could have lost. Seattle, of course. Yeah. So it's tough, but still 7-3 regardless is pretty incredible. But what Brady has now that Mahomes doesn't is the incredible comeback Super Bowl. I mean, remember, Patriots were down 28-3. Yep. There was a moment yesterday when the announcers were even talking about it. We're all going, is this just going to set up for Mahomes to have the ultimate comeback ever? And I mean, at the start of the third quarter, I was like thinking, oh man, if he does this, that's how convinced I am that he's just got all the hoodoo and voodoo needed. I'm literally at halftime. The Chiefs had not crossed midfield at halftime, and I'm still worried about the game. Mm-hmm. And now after the game, I'm like, okay, hang on, let me shake this off. Oh, yeah, the Eagles were obviously going to kick their ass. They just have better position players everywhere on the field. Why were we so convinced? But then again, it's like, well, no, history shows the Chiefs just win when you least expect them to. I'm just glad to know it's over now. And this isn't going to be one of those, oh, no, but the Chiefs are going to come back angrier than ever. It's like, I don't know. Mahomes is going to be 30. He's in his 30s now. He's going to be 30. And, if there's going to be a little decline, maybe we were already seeing it. Listen to me, just hoping that's the case.
Yeah, well, I mean, and they've got some cap things to deal with a little bit. When you put a dynasty together, we've seen this happen with all the dynasties, they come along. Except for the Patriots, they just reloaded, right? They just went out and got a bunch of nobodies. But Kelsey's got to go. Kelsey's got, I forget what he's got, but he's got double what any tight end is making in the rest of the league to come back next year. So they're going to have to get rid of him and try and reload at some skill positions. But, I mean, they'll hang around because they've got Patrick Mahomes, and he's got some good years left in him. But, it's, I guess, I mean, it was the most entertaining blowout I think I've ever watched. But like Ryder said earlier, when they were doing the urine Gatorade bath there with 3 minutes left in the game, we still had people at the party going, I don't know. I was getting a little nervous. I was like, I'm like, when can I call this game? Yeah, don't jinx it. But, the Eagles just, they came to play, and the Chiefs came to win. There's a difference.
My other favorite part, actually might be the best part of the day, was the number of things you see on social media about how Eagles fans have a hard time spelling Eagles. And by the way, this was all over. They're asking people, how do you spell it? And they all go E-A-G-E-E-L E-A-L.
It's their chant. They do it.
If they're not doing the chant, they can't spell it. They can only do it with the chant. But the number of drunken, happy Eagles fans who cannot spell their own team, I don't know. It's kind of charming, actually. Like, we don't even care how we spell it. But this is exactly why the New York Jets named themselves the Jets. They knew their fans were going to struggle. And they're like, it's got to be 4 letters. It's got to be 4 letters. We cannot repeat any letters, and we got to start with an unusual letter like a J or a C or a Q or a Z.
Yeah.
J-E-T. That's it, Jets. So if you wonder why the New York Jets are so named, it's simply because the people that put that team together knew exactly who their fans would be. All right, moving on. You got to boost that immune system every day, especially if you don't get a good night's sleep. Number 1, man, sleep. My God, hugely impactful on your immune system. And you know what else really helps?
What?
Nothing.
Nothing?
In the form of a placebo. A placebo
that's
can help
gross.
you feel better, even if you know it's a placebo. In a recent comprehensive study, researchers were giving sugar pills to people and saying, listen, this isn't real medicine. And everybody, the vast majority of people still said their symptoms when dealing with a cold and or flu, their systems improved after taking a placebo that they knew was a placebo.
It's because they always use sugar, and we're Americans. We're addicted to it. Give us some sugar. We're probably not sick. We're just probably having a withdrawal from sugar. Just sugar cures everything. I thought you said placenta at first. Placebo.
It's easy to get those two words confused, I guess. There's a lot of ways that could go sideways if you get those reversed. It is important, and Ryder would like to share with everybody, rock music and other types of music can help your immune system.
Yeah, crank it up.
Music can improve your immune response by increasing the production of antibodies and natural killer cells. It can also reduce stress and anxiety, which has a positive impact on your immune system. So, a lot of music, a sugar pill here and there. But here's another weird one. This is a study from 2020 says, looking at pictures of sick people can strengthen your immune system. When you see other people who are coughing and or sneezing or obviously sick, your immune system boosts. You start to laugh like a bizarre movie villain.
Yeah.
And also the laughter and the plans to destroy humanity make you have a stronger immune system as well.
Okay. Sure. This is what's going to get my head out of the porcelain bowl. Okay. Quick, show me a pic. All I got to do is look in the mirror then, right? And I'll feel better. This is nonsense.
Hang on. This is a good one. It says petting a dog. Your immune system gets a boost. This is a study that from about 20 years ago. It doesn't even have to be a real dog, but petting a stuffed animal works just as well. I'm going to question this, at least in the case of one dog, and that would be our good friend Chauncey Gorman. Petting him is a good way to get sick because he's going to sneeze or blow snot in some way on you if you get too close. If you want to know if you are a fan of dog snot, come by the studio most mornings and get a load of Chauncey because he'll just blast you with it.
Maybe it's like that Vicks. You just rub it on your chest before you go to bed. Clears you up? No, I don't know. What about a furry? If you have a friend that's a furry, we talked about that last week.
Yeah,
that might work if you pet them.
Okay, now we're in the weeds. keeping a journal apparently can really help strengthen your immune system, because if you're less likely to keep stuff bottled up, and if you don't talk about, or even more importantly sometimes write about your problems, you get stressed out. That weakens your immune system. Okay, relax everybody. So you're telling me no high school girl with a diary is ever going to get sick? Please.
Yeah.
Doctor, I'm a lesbian. Can you cure me?
Let me. Wow.
Altar of Lust. Did you guys ever? That came out with what's the marijuana one? You know, the weed movies.
Reefer Madness.
The Reefer Madness that came out in 1955.
That was the double feature: Reefer of Madness and Altar of Lust.
Yeah, Altar of Lust.
I missed that one.
Seen it. It's on YouTube.
Okay.
I was watching it this morning before the show.
I late 80s probably, first time I ever heard two things: echinacea and golden seal.
Oh,
and
echinacea.
These two supplements, or whatever they are, were introduced to me by a really hot hippie chick, and I was so willing and hopeful to not only impress her but handle the cold I was battling, that I was like, oh really, I've never even heard of these. And she took pity on my poor small town ignorant brain and said, let me tell you the magic of echinacea and golden seal root. And she took me to the health food store, and we went, and I bought them, and I shouldn't have because I had no money, but I took them, and I had the drops I'd put in water for the echinacea, and then I had the golden seal pills, or reversed, whatever it was. The one I was drinking tasted like absolute garbage, and the pill did nothing. And I took that crap for like 2 weeks, and just thinking like, yeah, I'm going to come back. I'm going to be roaring in full strength. When I see her, I'm going to be like, wow, you saved my life. What can I do to pay you back? I don't know. Maybe let's get in the shower. I had something I was going to work. Nothing. I swear to God, it made me sicker. I went downhill so fast. And then I still was willing to try it. And then one day, probably, within 6 months, a couple of colds later, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to go get some Dayquil, which in the 80s was liquid meth.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get on some druggy speed from for over the counter at Walgreens, and I'll be good to go. Take your golden seal and echinacea and stick and hide them in those weird dreadlocks you're working on.
Yeah, those hippie chicks never have anything chlamydia either, but they always seem to have that.
They got that. You know what's weird? I've noticed they have that like in their purse. Like, I got some chlamydia here. Hang on a second. Let me pull this out for you. We talked a little while ago, and I'm hoping if anybody can help us real quickly. We told the story. You've probably heard of it. A brand man got on a cruise. He was given a free Caribbean cruise from Norwegian Cruise Lines. He got the flu. He got 3 or 4 days of treatment on board the ship, and he was stuck with a $47,000 bill. $47,000 for flu treatment. Now, that's bad enough, but to add insult to injury, he did have a catheter. They utilized a catheter, meaning they shoved a catheter right up Big Jim. And he said, I don't even know why I would need a catheter for the flu. Anybody have any idea why they may have gone that way? That isn't because they're freaks. We've already discussed that possibility.
Yeah.
651-989-ROCK. We already had some people calling. They're like, hey, I don't get the catheter thing. But I'm going to be wondering. I'm going to be worried about this catheter for quite some time.
Maybe it was getting ready to expire. I better use this up. Next person that comes in is getting
there it is.
Catheter, yeah.
There it is.
Nope. What not?
No, you got to get it out of that by use-by date. Hey, you know what you can do? You can win AC/DC tickets at 92KQRS.com for their sold-out show at US Bank Stadium April 10th. Prize provided by Jam Productions. Go to 92KQRS.com. Your top 5 at 9's coming up. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. It's the KQ Morning Show on Minnesota's Classic Rock, 92 KQRS.
A few minutes ago, we were talking about placebos, different things that people take, even if you know they don't work and you still say it makes you feel better. One text I'll share with you. Someone just texted in, Vicks Vapor Rub is the most famous placebo on the planet. They sell the S out of it, and everybody knows it does nothing, but everybody says it makes them feel better. And I, for one, say, wow, bite your forked tongue. That is magic in a jar, Vicks Vapor Rub. Are you kidding me?
I thought it had something in it. Like, I don't know, whatever stung my eyes when I was a kid. Mom would always rub it on the chest, and then you put the white cotton T-shirt on to trap it in there, right?
Yeah.
And then it would just end up in your eyes, and your eyes stung all night, which made me think less about I guess how bad my throat burned. I don't know.
I think the key is to have, at a certain age, it still feels amazing. You got to have your mom do it, and she's got to have the right touch, and she's got to hum under her breath as she does it, like, you're going to feel better. Stevie's going to feel better. And then next thing you know, there's a bowl of chicken noodle soup, there's a grilled cheese, the Brady Bunch is on, and it's tomorrow, and you're back at school. I mean, it always worked for me. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. I was never, ever, ever upset when the Vicks Vapor Rub came out of the closet, man. Always a good time for that. It's a perfectly good time for the top 5 at 9 right now. Bunch of stories that jumped out to us on your Monday as we regroup and plan for the next 6 months without football. Fun fact, quickly, Marley Gorman, our daughter, she's 22. She's been dating a guy for a little over a year. Wonderful young man. Sweetheart of a kid. We think he's great. He loves football. And about midway through this season, our daughter called one time and she was like, I just got to talk about this football thing. It's kind of freaking me out. And I just handed the phone to my wife and said, okay, we explain it to her. And so she's been waiting for today, man, just to get football out of her hair. So for all of the football widows and wives and or others who've been suffering, it's over now. Enjoy your next 6 months watching the rest of us go through withdrawals. A lot of people, what's that?
I just saw the Vikings had their first mock draft this morning. I'm not kidding you. I'm on.
Well, hold on. This changes everything.
Yeah, I'm on the X page here, and they're all, mock draft. I'm like, just pump the brakes, geekazoids, you know?
Let's do some baseball first.
Exactly. Let's let the Twins will be out of it by the middle of May, so then you can get back to your football.
But this Thursday, when pitchers and catchers report, come on, man, we're going to feel great for a day or two, and then we'll get the first report of some tendonitis and a little elbow here and a little knee there.
Buxton going down in spring training.
Oh, it's a tradition like no other.
Going down in spring training?
You know it.
If he even plays.
An annual survey says 22.5 million Americans planned ahead to miss work today. What they call Super Bowl Monday, which we call the day after. The previous record was about 18 million from a few years ago, but no, 22.5 million people say, no, I planned it. I pulled this day off. If you're not a Chiefs or an Eagles fan, what are you doing? I mean, if that's your team, if you had a rager, but you know, even if you had an all-day Super Bowl smorgasbord, food and drink and stuff yourself, you know, the game was over by 9 Central, a little after 9. You can still get up and get to work today. Planning for Super Bowl Monday, it's a bit extreme. That's just me. But then again, I'm the guy who, when my alarm went off this morning, thought about throwing my phone across the room into the wall.
Me too.
And I had to think about the fact that, no, it's actually really expensive. That's a computer, and I'm about to whip it against the wall.
I know, and I could have gone to bed at halftime on this deal, but the party was swinging, and everybody was feeling good, and the food was flying around. And so we got to all that. I don't know, my buddy Webb, I forget which game they were watching. I'm pretty sure it was the one where it must have been in Miami when the Bears were playing
the Colts.
The Colts, that's right. The big downpour with Prince playing halftime. That's the game they watched. He went to a Super Bowl party and they watched that game. The whole thing, commercials and all, the halftime show, the whole thing. And he called me. FaceTime me, actually. I'm like, oh, you're actually watching that old Super Bowl. That's fantastic. And he was drunk. So I think the less you have invested in the Super Bowl, the bigger the party gets. Yeah.
Well, that's very true. I told you last week about a buddy from Philly who invited and then uninvited us because he realized I'm too stressed. I can't have people in the house.
Yeah.
And by halftime, he was texting, obviously drunk, just gleefully, gloriously celebrating the Birds. Go Birds. And as we already mentioned, Eagles fans were feeling it. And I get it. Early in the third quarter, it was 34-0. The 3 minutes left in the game Gatorade shower was a shock and a thrill. And, of course, we all had that thing of like, is it really over? What if this would be the ultimate jinx? Can you imagine if there'd been a series of catastrophic turnovers and suddenly the Chiefs came roaring back and a wet head coach had to take a loss. That would have been would have been pretty fantastic. But no, the Chiefs absolutely run out of the building. Don't let the score fool you. If you passed out early, that was an ass kicking from start to finish. Number 4 on your top 5 at 9. If you're gonna come into work today hungover and you're thinking to yourself, nope, by God, even with a hangover, I'm going to work. There's a company in Japan that you might be interested in, a tech company in Osaka. They're called the Trust Ring Company Limited. They are offering as perks to hire in new talent because it's hard to keep young techies in a job. There's a lot of attractive jobs out there. This company has said you can drink at work and we'll give you hangover leave.
All right.
That's right here. That's
getting right to it. One employee said, because I use the hangover leave system, I go back to work at 12 o'clock. I sleep for 2 or 3 more hours, come back with a clear mind. I'm more efficient that way. Listen, this is just great. The boss, when somebody has a great day at work, the boss will come out. He'll pour a drink for everyone. They toast each other at the work site. I don't know a lot about Japanese culture. I've been there several times and toured. I do know one thing, and I heard this early on, the first trip ever, and then I saw it 100% in full effect. We took the bullet train once. The high-speed trains in Japan, you always see they go like 280 miles an hour, and they're awesome. And there's always a bar car on there, and people are drinking. Yeah. And one of our interpreters said, culturally speaking, like for the salarymen, the businessmen, the guys who get up and do the hour-long train commute into the city and an hour-long back at the end of the day, they are called salarymen. And basically, the unwritten rule is if they're drinking, then anything they do will be forgiven.
What, really?
It's a license. It's a license.
Shoguns.
It's a license to just be the biggest douchebag you've ever met. And on the train, we got on a train. We're a drunk rock band, so of course we're already drunk and not worrying about any repercussions. But watching these guys, they would order a drink, they would have one sip, and then immediately have a personality shift because they went into I'll act like I'm really drunk mode. That way I can leer at a woman, I can flirt, I can do whatever I want, and it's all forgiven. And of course we watched that happen and we thought we still have a lot to learn from the Japanese.
We do. I was born in the wrong country. I had no idea. I'm a lot less patriotic today.
Tell you
Japan,
what,
all the way, man.
They got a couple. There's a couple of perks. That's all I'm saying. A couple of it helps to be around for a few thousand years. Get all those the fine ends kind of soothed down. You figure it all out. Make it work for you.
Cheaper than paying them more, and they work themselves to death by the time they're 60. So you don't have all that retirement. You got to dish them out.
Speaking of working hard, number 3 on our top 5 at 9, a lot of us work hard just trying to get to and from work, that long commute, a lot of traffic jams, especially this time of year, people driving like knuckleheads and it backs up and you get an extra 30, 40 minutes in the car. At the end of the day, so many people, so many American workers are leaving work and ending up sitting in traffic that it's making us gain weight. Why, you say? Because it affects meal choices. Studies have shown people who sit in heavy traffic on the way home, they're less likely to want to make a healthy meal. They're less likely to even want to eat a healthy meal because the stress of traffic makes you want to eat something fast, and it turns that part of your brain to where I need to hit the pleasure center real quickly. Hey, there's a Wendy's. Bing, bang, boom. You're getting fast food. You're not making food at home. You're not getting a salad. You're getting a cheeseburger. You're adding bacon to it. And we're all getting a little bit heavier because we just can't get out of traffic. Does that all sort of add up to you? Does that make sense?
It does make sense to me, except for the 2 guys out on 169 this morning, road raging and going toe-to-toe fighting. They're burning calories there.
Yeah, they are.
Those guys are getting it done out there. Listen to this poor Gen Z gal, how bad people have it these days. Listen to this
I'm probably just being so dramatic and annoying, but this is my first job, like my first 9-to-5 job after college, and I'm in person, and I'm commuting in the city, and it takes me forever to get there. So it literally takes me, I leave here, I get on the train at 7:30, and I don't get home till 6:15 earliest, and then I don't have time to do anything. I want to shower, eat my dinner, and go to sleep. I don't have time or energy to cook my dinner either. I don't.
I know.
Yeah, jobs are weird.
Yeah, they're tough.
Careers are strange.
I know it. Well, Bring on the robots. Bring on the AI. We'll just live a life of leisure, right?
That's it, yeah.
After they take over.
We'll just live out in the woods because we won't have any options. We'll literally have to live at the base of trees. So number 2 on your top 5 at 9. Today is a lot of things. It's Super Bowl Monday, some people call it. It's just straight up February 10th, but it's also National, wait for it, Poop Day.
Hey.
This is, in fact, National Poop Day. And not necessarily just because we all ate way more than we should have yesterday and we need to make sure we're still functioning and flowing. No, this has been happening since 2016. National Poop Day created to celebrate and explore one of the most vital functions of the human body. I'd say it's as vital as any other. It started at the Madison Children's Museum. So maybe, take a moment with your family today and let's just put it on the table. Not literally, figuratively, let's talk about poop. How'd you do? How'd you feel? Did you see it coming? Did it come on surprisingly quickly? Or did you feel a little backed up? Too much guacamole? It's National Poop Day. Take advantage of it. Is there anything anybody here wants to share about National Poop Day so far?
I mean, of course, this came out of Wisconsin.
Well, yeah, there's that.
That was my first thought.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not promoting a wild game diet. However, that's pretty much what I ate yesterday and this morning. Clean pinch. Didn't even need. I just wasted the toilet paper.
Oh, that's fantastic. Wild game. You weren't eating one of those nuisance beavers, were you?
No, the night didn't go that well.
Okay. All right. Very good. Morning shout out to our friends in Chaska. What's up, Chaska? Glad to have you with us this morning. Get on the stick. Let us know you're hearing us, Chaska. Number 1 on your top 5 at 9, in case you did miss the whole thing. Super Bowl 59 has come and gone, and the Eagles with a huge win, although it shouldn't come as a surprise if you listen to this very show, because on Friday, one of us had some thoughts on what was going to happen, and it sounded like this.
Oh, man, I totally wasn't prepared for this glowing moment of mine.
Moment.
I know. All right, here we go.
Does anybody here want to make a prediction on what's going to happen in this game? Do we even care enough?
I'm going to take the Eagles blowout.
Wow.
Game's over by the middle of the third quarter. Eagles win by 3 scores.
That would be something. I think the vast majority of Americans would celebrate if that were to be the case.
All right, celebrate away. On me.
Man.
You're welcome.
Nice work, dude.
I made a few bucks on it, too, and I hadn't really planned on placing any bets on the game itself. I don't even know what the heck the point spread was, but I had a bunch of loudmouth friends texting me, and some of my very favorite friends, True Man, I'm talking about you. You owe me $10 now. Going, oh yeah, put your money where your mouth is, big talker. So I did. I took all the bets. Those guys, $340 of illegal money coming my way.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Patrick Mahomes, the front runner for is this the greatest quarterback we've ever seen conversations for the last 5 years, threw for 257 yards and a couple of touchdowns. However, most of that happened after his team went down 34-0 early in the third quarter. I mean, I've seen some ass kickings, but this has to rival. They were, to answer your question about the spread, the Chiefs were favored 1.5 point favorites going into the game, and then down 34-0. This is like Jets over Colts in Super Bowl III upset territory. I mean, the spread wasn't as big, but the ass kicking as big as anything I can remember in a very long time. Jalen Hurts, your MVP of the game, 40-22 in a game that which was way worse than that. Those are just backdoor points to make the Chiefs not feel like the worst Super Bowl performance since. Remember in the 80s? There was all those NFC wins in a row where they would constantly win by 30, 40 points.
Oh, yeah.
Just seemed like the AFC couldn't get out of their way. It felt like that watching the game yesterday. I was like, yeah, I saw this. It was Doug Williams beating the Broncos, or, those games you look back on.
Yeah.
No one saw it coming, but the Eagles won. The polls will remain greased for weeks in Philadelphia and in New Orleans. Congratulations. Get a cheesesteak. Mispronounce hoagie for the next few months. You earned it. That is a team that absolutely earned their keep.
Get the KQ Morning Show podcast wherever you listen. 92 KQRS.